Russell Wilson is out and Jackson Dart is in as the starting quarterback of the New York Football Giants. Jackson Dart, of course, the rookie out of Ole Miss. He was their first-round pick in the draft this year. He's going to make his first start on Sunday against the Chargers in New Jersey. So, first start against a 3-0 team with a great defense. I mean, he's basically thrown right into the fire. I think everybody likes Jackson Dart. And they like what he showed in the preseason. We'll just have to see how he does. He has a very talented receiver to throw to in Malik Nabers, who's the latest freak receiver out of LSU, so that'll help. Dart started his career at USC, so I'm familiar with him going back to the very beginning of his college career. But then he transferred to Ole Miss after his freshman year when Lincoln Riley came to USC from Oklahoma and brought Caleb Williams with him. And then Dart went on to play 3 years for Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. Of course, Lane Kiffin made his name at USC as an assistant during the Pete Carroll glory years. So, Lane Kiffin, he's somebody who's still tapped in. It's like he had Matt Corral at Ole Miss also. So he's somebody who's just like Pete is still tapped in to the scene out here and the talent pool out here. The same is true of Lane Kiffin. I told this story on the podcast before, but I remember when Lincoln Riley first left Oklahoma and was hired at USC, and I was on the phone talking to Galvis, and I remember going, man, but I really like Jackson Dart, right? And I like it. I always like it when the players are, even if not homegrown, because I think Jackson Dart is from Utah. I like it when kids play their whole college career for one program. That's just my preference. Now, of course, Caleb Williams went on to win the Heisman. And since Lincoln Riley got here, he's had some great transfer. Guys come and transfer here, but that's my preference when guys play their whole career for one program. And but I remember I was talking to Galvis at the time, and I was going, but I was like, Galvis going, he was going to bring Caleb Williams with him. And I was like, but what do you, but we already have Jackson Dart. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? And as I was talking to y'all, I realized, Lincoln Riley doesn't have any ties to Jackson Dart. And Jackson Dart is he's not even from LA. He's from the West Coast. Technically, Utah is more West Coast, I guess, than anything. But it wasn't much for Jackson Dart to just go on and transfer to Ole Miss. Like he's from LA, he wasn't going to stay and fight for the job with Caleb Williams. So I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, but I'm even the kids who transfer out for whatever reason and go somewhere else. I always root for those kids. So I'm just it's like I still root for Lane Kiffin. I still root for Sarkisian. So I always hope that Dart did well. He did well enough to be a first-round pick, and I hope he continues to do well. As for Russell Wilson, who was brought in to be the bridge quarterback there until Jackson Dart was ready, he had a big game against the Cowboys in week 2, but just a week later, 2 nights ago on Sunday Night Football, he was just 18 for 32 for 160 yards and 2 interceptions against the Chiefs. They lost that game at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, and now he's lost his job. So, I think this is probably the end of his run, at least as someone who, is, brought in to be a starter, at the start of a season for an NFL team. since leaving Seattle in 2021. That was his last year in Seattle. So since then, he's gone just 17 and 27 for three different teams. First the Broncos and the Steelers, now the Giants. This is after going 104, 53, and 1 in 10 years with the Seahawks, who drafted him in 2011, I believe it was. With Seattle, he made 9 Pro Bowls, threw for over 37,000 yards and 292 touchdowns. He had a 65% completion percentage, won one Super Bowl, and made another next year. But of course, he threw that infamous pick at the goal line to Malcolm Butler against the Patriots. It should have been back-to-back. They just handed the ball to Marshawn Lynch. And all told, he's a 10-time Pro Bowler with 353 career touchdown passes and a 99.4 career quarterback rating. And he's a champion, as I mentioned. And I'd argue he's still a first ballot future Hall of Famer based off that resume. But for him to fall off like he did, starting at age 34, really age 33, because that last year in Seattle, I think that was what made Pete decide that he was comfortable parting ways. He saw some things and realized that Russell wasn't the same cat anymore. For sure that what's happened these last 4 years, it has not been a good look for his legacy. And I can't think of another quarterback who fell off that relatively early after being that good for 10 straight years, So, but yeah, I think overall, if you look at the totality of his career, it'd be impossible to keep him out of the Hall of Fame, even on the first ballot. It just feels weird because it's like kind of a lopsided career, because at 33, 34 years old, especially in this era with the advancements in technology and medicine and training, you got guys, Drew Brees and Tom Brady, they played well, and they played into their 40s playing good football. And so for Russell to fall off like he did before he really, he was hitting his, hadn't even hit his mid-30s yet, really. Like I said, it wasn't a good look. And the thing is that because of recency bias, that's what people remember what happened more recently. And you'll get a pass if you go look back. You're supposed to look back going up, but his decline just started relatively early compared to most quarterbacks in this era, especially.